5 seconds remaining.
Welcome back, everyone. It's finals time. We're good to go here. We're at the semi-pro, or we're casting the semi-pro cup series, or SCS, whatever you want to call it. Either way, hosted by NA Dota, weekly tournament that well, I get to cast every week, and we get to see a bunch of teams show what they've got, and we've seen next level badasses almost every single week on this cast. I've had the pleasure of casting them, and joke in the lobby prior to this game about feeling like I almost feel like I'm their official caster, casting them every week. But consistency is huge for teams. If you guys can be consistent with your performance every single week, that's definitely going to be great at helping you get better, I guess. But once again, guys, I try to be consistent casting every week and cast as much as I can because I'm trying to get better. I'm Niz. Hopefully I am getting better, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the cast so far, as it's been action-packed. There's been so many kills tonight. It's been insane. And one of the teams that we've seen getting a bunch of those kills was last game we saw Spartan 5. They're going to be on our dire side this game. And they had some pretty impressive plays, and certainly they needed to knock off Fallen. And wow, we're gonna have to see what Next Level Badasses has in store for us tonight as they look to win SCS, but certainly Spartan 5, they look to win SCS as well tonight. So it'll be an interesting match, that's for sure. Let's catch up with our bans. We've got Undying and Spirit Breaker banned out by Spartan 5. They picked up the Bounty Hunter and the Anti-Mage. Next Level Badasses, they banned out the Tusk and the Lestrak, and then picked up the Lena and the Gyrocopter. Lena, Gyrocopter, one of the more popular openings, hero openings. But then we moved on to our next set of bans, Earthshaker and Darkseer. So the pointy head guy, still not seeing him. He gets banned out again. So he gets banned out by Spartan 5. And then we've got Storm Spirit and Winter Wyvern. Winter Wyvern, we've actually seen 2 games tonight, but not going to see him this game. We've also seen Storm 2 games tonight as well, but not going to see him. And we've seen Tusk 2 games tonight. So all 3 of those heroes are getting banned out by Next Level Badasses, so we're not going to see any of them. But we are going to see a Rubik, as they picked him up to add on to their roster of Lena and Gyrocopter. So we've seen Gyro been played very aggressively from Zoro last game, and we expect him to be in the safe lane for Next Level Badasses. Lena, we're not too sure what she's doing. She could be mid, she could be support paired with the Rubik. We saw that support duo last game as well. In fact, we saw all 3 of these heroes in our last game. But yeah, we still don't know if that Lena's going to be mid or support. But certainly the options are there, as we know Lena very, very strong in the mid lane. As for Spartan 5, well, we know who's going to be their safe lane farm, and that's going to be the Anti-Mage. Bounty Hunter could be running the off lane, but primarily run as support, kind of roaming around, doing a lot of harassing, putting pressure on the mid laner. So we'll look and see if what the Bounty Hunter is able to get done. But the thing that's key about Bounty Hunter, track gold. Track gold is ridiculous when we have a lot of kills, and certainly we've seen a lot of that tonight. So if they're able to get a lot of tracks up, that means a lot of track gold, which means a lot of gold for Spartan 5. But Next Level Badasses, they've got a decent response to it, because they've got Rubik, so they can steal track, so they can get track kills of their own. But now they've got Bloodseeker, a hero that loves to get kills and to pick people off and to snowball out of control. And he's going to be a hero that Spartan 5 is definitely going to have to look to shut down. As I'm sure if you've been playing pubs recently, you know how much of a pain it is to play against Bloodseeker. And I think everyone can't wait until this next patch, because I think everyone's got a pretty good feeling that Bloodseeker is going to get nerfed. But we also know that Lesh is probably going to get nerfed and Lena's going to get nerfed. But oh, I hate playing against Bloodseeker, I'll tell you that. Wind Ranger is going to be the pickup for Spartan 5. I actually saw it was KVO. He was streaming last night, and he said he was going to be playing, or in a stream title. I actually didn't actually tune into the stream, but he was saying that he was going to be playing Wind Ranger all night long. So Wind Ranger, a hero that we're definitely starting to see a lot more of recently. So we're going to see some of it this game as well. Probably going to be in the mid lane. We typically don't see off-lane Wind Rangers too often anymore. But she's definitely one of the go-to
Reserve
picks to
time.
go up against heroes like Lina in the mid lane. So Spartan 5 choosing to pick that up. They've also, I don't think I actually mentioned it, but they picked up the Dazzle, so that's going to be their safe lane position 5 support to try to help that Anti-Mage. So Wind Ranger versus Lina matchup mid. We've got the Gyrocopter's safe lane for next level badasses. We've got the Bloodseeker as well, probably going to be the off lane. They may put a support up there with them. They could put the Rubik there with the Bloodseeker, or they could leave the Rubik at home with the Gyrocopter. Both are very real possibilities. But I think they're probably going to put another hero up there in the top lane with the Bloodseeker, and that could be troublesome for an Anti-Mage Dazzle to deal with. They could really contest an Anti-Mage's farm. Quap was the final ban for next level badasses.
Remaining.
So they're basically banning out
5
something that's going to be able
remaining.
to be strong against the Gyrocopter. Left 1v1 in the lane. Phoenix is going to be the ban.
Radiant
So
team pick.
Spartan 5 banning out the Phoenix, thinking that maybe it's going to be a Phoenix offlane. Bloodseeker is going to be in the jungle, which is a very real possibility as well. They could be also think Bloodseeker is going to be mid, Gyrocopter is going to be safe lane, Phoenix offlane, Lina Rubik support duo. That could have been another possibility there. I think we probably will see Lina mid though, Gyro safe lane, Bloodseeker offlane paired with another hero that they're waiting to pick.
Remaining.
But like I said, the Lina Rubik support duo is still a very real
remaining.
possibility with the Bloodseeker mid against the Wind Ranger. I think Bloodseeker will do fine against Wind Ranger.
Reserve time.
I actually don't know that matchup, but in my head it plays out alright. Well, who are they going to pick? Got a minute left here in their reserve time. Spartan 5 only has 12 seconds of reserve time, but of course then they also have their pick time as well. Did I say KVO? Oh my gosh, Mr. Sizzo's calling me out. Yeah, KVH. Yikes. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry, guys. Why you gotta call me out like this? Now it's awkward. This is where I wish I had an overlay and I could just hit a button to just show like a big Kappa face or something. I don't know. It's gotta lighten the mood. I guess an awkward moment on the stream is alright to buy a little bit of time as we wait for this final pick to come out. As they're using all their time here. Come on, Noble Wings. Give me something to work with. 12 seconds. 11.
10 seconds remaining.
9, 8, 7, 6,
5 seconds remaining.
3. Morphing. What? Okay. Definitely wasn't going to
pick.
expect that one. There was too many possibilities to even really ponder what potential heroes they were going to be picking there. I can tell you though, Morphling was not on that list for me. So they're going to pick up Morphling. And what does this mean? What does this mean? This means Gyrocopter safe lane, Bloodseeker mid, Morphling off lane,
10
Lina Rubik
seconds
support duo.
remaining.
Where do they lane their
5
supports?
seconds
The
remaining.
Rubik and the Lina are together moving around, maybe even putting pressure on the Wind Ranger in the mid.
Reserve
It's
time.
a possibility. Going to be going up against a Clockwork in the off lane. Rubik good against Clock. Lina's actually quite good against Clock as well. Interesting. So I don't have it introduced who's playing what, but looking at who's playing what before I introduce them. Huh. They might not be putting the Bloodseeker mid and the Morphling off lane. It could be the other way around. Interesting. But either way, we've got a bug and a disconnect and a pause and a reconnect and all that kind of stuff to start this game off. That means it's official. But the G's come out, so we're good to go. So let's introduce our teams and our players. On the Radiant side, we've got next level badasses. And like I said, maybe it's not a Morphling off lane, as we've got Noble Wings playing the Morphling. But he's got an Observer Ward. Yeah, it looks like he's going mid though. So we've got Noble Wings on the Morphling. We've got Good Night on the Gyrocopter, who's going top. We've got Cheesehead on the Lina. We got Shay on the Bloodseeker, as I somehow click on Lina there. And we've got Straylock on the Rubik. As for Dire Side Heroes, we've got Spartan 5. We saw these guys last game, and they put on quite a show. We've got Didden, who was playing the Rubik last game. He's going to be playing the Bounty Hunter. Russ West, who did some work on the Tusk last game, is going to look to do so on the Clockwork. We've got Jip, or JYP, at JYP. Check him out on Twitter. He's going to be playing the Dazzle. We've got Sleep at 4, which had a pretty good game on the Storm Spirit last game. He's going to be playing the Wind Ranger this time around. And the Animage is going to be played by Stan, at Stan. So he did a pretty good job on the Slark as well. Didn't see him get too active early on, but certainly he did his job to close the game on out. But we see a lot of big rotation here from Radiant as they went moving through the jungle. Not going to find a kill. Almost broke into song there.
Every coin helps.
Waters rise.
Presidents of the United States of America. Peaches. I don't know if you guys know that song, but that's the song I was thinking of. Millions of peaches. Peaches for me. But enough of that, because I can't sing, so we're just going to stick to Dota. We've got interesting lanes here coming out from Next Level Badasses. They're going with an aggro tri-lane. They've got the Gyro, the Rubik, and the Lina coming up here in the top lane, and they're going to contest the Animage. I was speaking of potentially threatening with a dual lane, but an aggro tri-lane certainly is another way to threaten. But we've got, so it's the AM, the Dazzle, and the Bounty Hunter that's going to be going up against that lane. Mid lane, it's going to be the Morphling, which isn't what we expected, but he's going to be going up against the Wind Ranger, which is interesting. We see them both at exactly the same damage for their auto attacks. We've got Wind Ranger 52 to 64 plus 3, whereas we got 54 to 63 plus 3. So the averages are the same, but that gives a slight advantage to the Morphling, but so slight. Because his range is a little bit tighter, but like by 1 damage is not the biggest thing in the world. So that's pretty much dead even. It's going to come down to attack animation, which, I mean, Wind Rangers is really good, but Morphling's not bad either. Bottom lane, that leaves a Bloodseeker to go up against a Clockwork. And I think Bloodseeker should do well down there, but once again, I don't know that lane, so I'm not really sure how they're going to square off against each other. I think Bloodseeker should win that, though. And Strelok trying to do the side pull, which is really important to do when you are, oh my goodness, so many pauses. That's really important to do when you're in an aggro tri-lane. You want to be able to pull. Oh, I can't draw, damn it. You want to be able to do the side pull to help control your lane. Just like you do on your safe lane, pulling to control the lane, keep it back near the tower. You want to be the same thing. My friends check Reddit for my Morphling mid guide. I didn't even know Noble Wings read that or wrote that, so we're gonna have to go check that out. Definitely go check it out when you've got some time. Of course, not during the cast. You've got to be focused on listening to me and watching the game. But after the cast, you can go check that out on Reddit. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting tri-lane, that's for sure. It's gonna be really tough for Didden to really get too much done, as they even already placed a sentry mid to help prevent him from doing so. Unfortunately, that sentry just barely missing the Observer Ward, but didn't come in from behind once again, going to disrupt that side pull. This is one way of doing it. You could always just ward it when you know you're going up against an aggro tri-lane. He does have the sentries to do so, but he's going to try to keep them on his person. He's actually going to back through a sentry ward. There's potential for them to go on him. Oh, the movement of the Rubik there may have just sold the fact that there's a sentry ward there, but he actually pings out that they're going to go for the side pull. So they might not have read into that too much. There's a sentry blocking that. In that position. They know that it's blocked. They certainly know that it's blocked, but they don't know where the sentry is positioned. And that's going to be important for the Bounty Hunter.
Double damage!
But he will pick up a DD, and now he starts making his way to mid. He's not even going to be invis. He's just going to run straight at him. I think he knows that the sentry's there, and then, oh, good play. Just going to drop the sentry, get rid of the sentry that's there, and like that, drops another sentry so that they can get rid of the high ground ward. Because if you remember, Noble Wings actually started with a ward off the start, so we place that up on the high ground. Well, let's see how the bottom lane's going right now. Looks to be, well, pretty even. As Clockwork has a slight advantage right now in CS, so good on him so far. More action in the top lane as we're going to have our first Shallow Grave go out onto Dazzle, and this is going to be our first blood. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Goodnight on the Gyrocopter.
That's how it's done, kids.
Good start, didn't. Was looking for the courier, didn't find it though. It's already passed by. And it's already been upgraded as well. We hit 3 minutes. It's going to be interesting when we reach a point where people give up on going for the courier on the bounty hunter, and then we eventually reach that point where people start like almost forgetting about bounty hunters always being there to pick off the courier, and then it comes back again. I love how we've got this like we go through these cycles in Dota where things are just kind of meta, like it just always happens, and then all of a sudden everyone kind of forgets about it and it gets overused or whatever and gets forgotten about. See, a question in chat, is Straylock the ex-SC2 player? I actually don't know. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. Of course, if you're an RTS player, you should probably know the name Straylock, as it's a pretty well-known name when it comes to RTS and esports, and more specifically with regards to SC2. But I'm not actually sure if that is Straylock. I don't think it is, but I could be wrong. And if it is, that's awesome. Certainly a lot of big RTS players got into Dota because they were playing Warcraft 3. And even if they didn't get into playing it competitively, they're certainly kind of coming back to playing it. We saw Baby Knight kind of go back and forth as he was playing some Dota. And then he went to play SC2 professionally, and then he came back to Dota and back and forth a bunch of times. I actually don't even know what he's playing right now. I think he's actually still playing SC2, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, that's actually how I got into Dota. I was really big into RTSs. I played Warcraft 3 competitively, and I was a big Warcraft 3 player. And then, you know, just naturally transitioned out from playing competitive Warcraft 3 to playing some Dota, then got into playing competitive Dota and Dota 1, and was kind of off and on playing competitive at different stages. Eventually played a little bit of competitive in Dota 2. Now I'm a caster, so been all over the place too. But not seeing too much action this game so far. It's just been, well, kind of stale in comparison to some of our previous games so far. We do have this aggro tri-lane, and it certainly is contesting AM's farm. He's at 9-0 CS. He's going to go up to 10-0 here as he gets a kill on the neutral cape. But we take a look at the Gyrocopter, 32-11. Huge win for Next Level Badasses in the top lane. Bottom lane though, it's actually Clockwork leading. He's at 21-5 compared to the Bloodseeker 17-8. Certainly it's not as one-sided as top lane is, but surprised to see Clockwork actually winning this lane. And we're going to have more action here as the Light Striker Ray is actually going to miss as Clockwork uses the cogs to actually push himself out of that, but also trap 2 in. We're going to see 2 kills going the way of Spartan 5 as, well, they actually TP'd some heroes down there to get it, but that's 2 kills. Why not? It's working for them. They had a top lane that wasn't really working out. They need to get some stuff going elsewhere on the map. So they get 2 kills in the bottom lane. As for our mid lane,
You didn't need that.
it's pretty even, but slight advantage for Spartan 5. As the Wind Ranger's sitting at 42-11 compared to the 32-7 from Noble Wings as he jumps forward. You know, he'll just get harassed a little bit by Din there. So far, everything's pretty stable, I'd say, for both teams. I don't think Spartan 5 expected their AM to be this poor, but they're going to look to find a way to get them back in this game and rebound them. The Light Strike away from the high ground is going to stun up the Bounty Hunter, and they will be able to get the kill. Noble Wings will get the last hit there. So our kill total gets evened up 2-2. 2 kills apiece. That's a lot of gold for 1 kill. Holy. 356 gold. Oh, I guess it was 2 heroes, but yeah. They're coming down to put more pressure onto this Bloodseeker. This Bounty Hunter actually hasn't shown himself yet. Now he's going to open up onto the Bloodseeker, who's been forced away from his creep wave with that battery assault. Now he's in trouble. And is he going to be able to get away? Power shot's off the mark. He was trying to. He was still in the river. He was really trying to reach with that one, but unable to do so. Stan getting quite low, but doing some of the jungle. And this is actually... this sucks for the anti-mage. I can't think of any other word that's better than this. When you're losing the top lane so hard and you've got to jump into the jungle and do a little bit of jungle farm, it sucks that you're doing it against a Bloodseeker, because typically you'll actually get kind of low. Just kind of eking out that little bit of extra farm that you can, because, well, you got to take a little bit of risks, but also you're doing it against neutral creeps, so you shouldn't die to them unless you're planning to die to them. But with Bloodseeker, you can't really play around with that low HP. But Blink Nice, he was the guy who asked the question in chat, and he actually just checked it up on the Join Dota. And his profile says that he is in fact the ex-SC2 player. So the Straylock is Straylock, so that's awesome. And he's been playing the Rubik this game, so let's take a look at him as he's still up here on the top lane. He's sitting with Boots, Clarity, and a Town Portal Scroll.
Dire's structures
doing a lot of the
are
warding and stuff,
fortified.
because he's just going to actually buy a set of observer wards right now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But I've actually
Dire's
cast a few
top
of his
tower
games, and
has
I actually
fallen.
didn't know that that was a real Straylock. That's cool.
Dire's middle tower is
Stan
under
goes
attack.
back to doing his farming in the jungle, and Straylock and Cheese are going to run into him. They're going to lift him. They're going to stun him. We don't have Laguna, though, so they're probably not going to have enough damage to bring him down. Goodnight was close, but not close enough to assist them. They drop a sentry ward to make sure that there's no bounty hunter, but also no observer ward there. An observer ward would be pretty good at protecting the bounty hunter. Shallow Grave had to come out from the Dazzle, but he gets finished off by the Lina as soon as it expires. And Shay, does get the Rupture off, but right as the bounty hunter goes invis, and they won't be able to bring him low enough so that they're able to see him. They did have dust onto Cheesehead. They could have
Radiant's
potentially
bottom
used it,
tower
but
is
I
under
think they
attack.
realized that this was just... It's going to be forcing it a
Dire's
little bit too
middle
much.
tower
Now
is under
Shay
attack.
tries to back away and just go back to the bottom lane to get a little bit of farm, but Russ West says, no deal, I'm going to come kill you with a hook shot.
Radiant's bottom
And
tower is
they're
under
also going to
attack.
find Sleep at 4.
Dire's middle tower
His
is
next
under
level
attack.
badasses, they're going to try to return the favor, but not able to do so. Instead, they'll just get the mid-tier 1.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Didn't. Trying to come in from behind.
Dire's
There's already
middle
sentry
tower
ward
is
there,
under
so he's
attack.
going to be walking through it. He needs to be careful.
Dire's middle tower
He's
has
actually just going to
fallen.
place an observer ward to give themselves a little bit of vision, but just barely inside the sentry ward. Oh, that's unfortunate. The typical ward spot is actually up here, and he didn't do that because he knew there would be a sentry mid for that purpose, so he placed it down a little bit, and fortunately this sentry position's a little bit different than where you normally place it, so gets caught out by that. Noble Wings way away from his team in the dire jungle, still finds a kill. He drops the Dazzle. Everyone else on his team is all in the bottom lane. They made that rotation from the mid to the bottom, and now they're going to look to push another tier 1 tower, and Justin's down here, so... Are we even going to see a response coming out from the dire side? I don't think
Dire's
we are.
bottom tower is
This
under
tower still has a
attack.
lot of HP though, so they do have a lot of time to get down here. Yep, TP comes into the tier 2 from the Wind Ranger.
Dire's structures
now being
are
used.
fortified.
That should help.
Yeah, it doesn't... I mean, they've
Dire's
got
bottom
Dazzle coming here as
tower is
well,
under
but they're
attack.
not going to be able to post up on the
Dire's
tower
bottom
well enough
tower
to defend
has
it,
fallen.
as it's going to go to the gyrocopter. Looks like we're not even going to have an engage between either team. They're just both going to settle with farming. We do have 4 heroes down here, though. Looks like next level badasses, they're They're sensing a weakness. They know that they won the lanes, or at least they feel strong in the lanes. They know that they're going against an anti-mage, so they feel like they're somewhat on the clock. Speaking of clock, he gets picked off by Noble Wings there. That's a pretty good segue. I'm proud of that one.
Dire's bottom tower.
But they know that they're on the clock playing up against an anti-mage, so they want to be able to push these towers. The sooner they can get the outside towers down, the sooner they can start potentially breaking high ground. It's a lot more difficult to break high ground and take tier 3s compared to tier 2s, but certainly they want to drop these outer towers because it also gives them gold as well, helps them snowball and helps them keep the pressure on. So they're going to take down another tier 2, and you know, you could say that, well, if those towers are so important for them to bring down so they can start bringing down the tier 3s, why aren't Dire defending it? It's because they can't. They're just going to lose that fight really, really badly. So they're just kind of cutting their losses, trying to delay it, buy as much time as possible for Stan to get into this game. But he's just sitting at Perseverance with a Quelling Blade, doesn't have anything on the Courier. So it's going to be a while before this AM really gets the farm going. We're only 14 minutes into this game, but that's pretty close to our typical Battle Fury timing.
Invisibility.
So it's going to be a little rough for him to, in terms of Battle Fury timing, but he's not. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. If his team can buy enough time, he's going to be in an alright position. We'll get one attack off on the Courier, but then he has to run away, and uh-oh. He gets dusted out, and they are in hot pursuit. And he made a mistake there. So, what he did is, while he was running away, and you're dusted, there's really no reason to go invis. You don't get any move speed from Shadow Walk as the bounty hunter, but one thing that dust does, is we can actually take a look at it, is it applies a 20% slow
Dire's middle
to
tower
units affected by it. And I believe, 90-something% sure that only applies to the invis heroes, otherwise we'd see it use a hell of a lot more. But yes, use reveals and slows invisible heroes in the nearby area. So he actually applied, by going invis, he applied a 20% slow to himself. So a little bit of mistake there coming up from the bounty hunter. I think he actually would have been okay. I don't know if they had the move speed to catch us, but either way, that's done and gone as we've got Strelok taking a fall here. Noble Wings desperately morphing strength, trying to keep himself alive.
Radiant's bottom tower
as they're not able to bring him down, or will they? Oh goodness, he's so low. Now he's turning around, trying to re-engage and help his team. But his team does manage to get a kill on both the Clockwork and the Dazzle. But those other two heroes that were just chasing Noble Wings will be able to get away. Stan pressuring the top tier 1 while doing so, and then he'll just go back to his jungle. His Good Night TP's on up to try to defend and force the aim back. We've been on top of looking at the anti-mage's farm so far, as he's picked up the broadsword, just needs the claymore to finish off his Battle Fury. But let's take a look at what we've got here on the Gyrocopter as his Yasha just comes in and delivers. He's got the Phase, Aquila, Morbid Mask, and a Drum of Endurance. Strelok sitting at Arcanes and a Sage's Mask. Cheesehead doing a little bit of farming in the Dire jungle, getting overwatched by Stan there. But Cheesehead, he's got his Arcanes and the more expensive half, so I guess it's not really half, but half in terms of items. He needs two. He has 2 out of the 4. Half of a Yule Scepter. Didn't. Got his urn. What does Shay have? Okay, he's getting close to finishing his blade mail. About halfway to finishing that in terms of gold.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Russ West already has his, so Clockwork definitely out ahead in terms of those two. In terms of blade mail protection, but pretty much equal in terms of gold. And here comes the engage. Russ West pops that blade mail as he's trapped himself in cogs with the Gyrocopter as Goodnight goes down. Cheesehead goes down as well. Now Russ West on the run. Shay will get the kill there. Strelok on the run from Stan as the Anti-Mage gets the kill. That'll help boost his farm in terms of Battle Fury timing. And oh my goodness, what a good TP on out. That was so close to the stun coming out from Noble Wings. But it actually... It would have just stunned him.
Top tower is
but he was definitely just on Agi, so it wouldn't have been the longest stun in the world. and I think Blink would have been pretty close to being back up, so they would have had to follow up even if they were able to finish that TP.
Radiant's bottom
0.25
tower
seconds,
is
Sun.
under attack.
Can't think of what else. I don't think they had a Blood Right available, plus I think Blink would have been up
Dire's top tower is under attack.
in time. But nevertheless, close to canceling that TP, but AM is definitely going to be very happy that he was able to escape there, because that meant that he got up to, I think he got up to 1,800 gold in that fight, so he was able to finish, buy that Claymore and finish his Battle Fury. Noble Wings, almost in a Manta on the Morphling. Looks like we've got a Medallion soon coming out from the Dazzler, at least he's making progress towards it. We've got an Aghanim Scepter on the Wind Ranger. I can't speak apparently. And what else? I think I've checked everyone. What haven't I checked? That's right. Pretty sure that's right. But we've got Radiant going for Roche. Certainly we have Dire Heroes hanging out around around the pit here as we start seeing some tracks go out. Get this, the Bloodseeker's coming. He's actually bringing the creep wave with him. He doesn't want to have to. He doesn't want to be missing any of his XP or gold. He says, "You know what? If everyone's going to hang out around Roche, I'm bringing a creep wave." He's actually going to use a Rupture on to sleep at 4, who will just pop Wind Run and just keep running with it. Runs all the way back to his Dazzle. Now he's got to stand in a Blood Right. He's going to get Shallow Graved. And they don't really have any way to finish off this Wind Ranger. They're just going to have to wait to the grave to finish, and then they'll finish him off.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah, Spartan 5, they were looking really good early on in this game, but next level badasses, like I said,
Radiant's
they've been consistently
fallen.
getting really far in SCS every single week, and they're showing a little bit of why they're so consistent.
Radiant's top tower
As they
is
start
under
bringing
attack.
it back in from some good play. You know, certainly not running away with this game, but they're certainly getting themselves back in it. They're definitely in the driver's seat right now as they take Roche to get the Aegis for their Morphling. As Russ West comes jumping on in, an important steal in this fight was Strelok, who did steal track. Unfortunately, he goes down before I think he gets any tracks off, and oh no. This is a lot of gold going to go the way of the Dire side. Yes, the Radiant got Roche, but now they're going to lose that Aegis. And I don't know if they're going to be able to kill this Morphling. But that's a lot of track kills, as Morph will just be able to TP on out. Look at that gold change. Whew. 3,700 gold. Gold swing in favor of Spartan 5. They only get 3,400 of that, but wow. That's track gold for you. That is track gold.
Illusion.
Strelok actually did a good job of stealing track, but unfortunately he died before I think he was able to get any tracks off, so they didn't get any track gold themselves. But he was able to steal it, and that's what he's going to have to look to do in these fights. Steal that track, give his team an advantage with the track gold. I guess it's more leveling the playing field than an advantage if you're track versus track. But we almost have a mech finished by the bounty hunter, as we just checked in, and he didn't have any of this. Now he's got a headdress and a buckler. Just needs a recipe to finish his mech. Now, you know, 900 gold. It's a pretty big component of mech, but still, that's this track gold for you. Animate has added on a Yasha. He's got another 1,600 gold on hand as well. Wind Ranger up to another 1,100. Dazzle, which all he had is a chainmail, and he was looking like he was struggling to get some of that item progression. He's now finished that medallion, also picked up a cloak, or I like to call it a jacket. There's our Clockwork added on. Russ West added on an Ogre Club. He wasn't able to really stick around for too long in that fight. He jumped on in and kind of got blown up in the Roche pit.
Players here.
Just was a little bit too late on that hook shot. Take a quick look at our Radiant side. We've got the Yule Scepter finished by Lena. We've got almost a medallion finished by Strelok. Shay, almost in a BKB, just needs the recipe. Noble Wings still hasn't finished that Manta. He's got enough gold to finish it now. I guess it might not be a Manta. I actually haven't read his guide, so If I had, I would have known
top
what he was going to be
tower is
going.
under attack.
They have found Stan. They're going to use him. He's going to drop him into Lena Stun, followed by the Bloodright, followed by the Laguna, followed by the Call Down, followed by pretty much every skill in the game, especially the heroes that aren't even in the game. As they just completely blow up that Anti-Mage. They're not taking any chances. They making sure that they're getting the kill on him. There's no such thing as overkill when killing an Anti-Mage.
Radiant's middle
Now they're going to
tower
look to
is
pressure
under
the tier
attack.
2. This is the last tier 2 standing for the Dire side. And then it's tier 3s. Then it's pushing high ground for next level badasses.
Dire's
We
top
still have to
tower
consider
is under
that
attack.
they are going up against an Anti-Mage,
Dire's
and Anti-Mage can get
structures are
really,
fortified.
really scary going later on
Radiant's
into the
middle
game.
tower
His
is under
farm gets
attack.
so fast.
Radiant structures
It's
are
very, very
fortified.
difficult to keep up. But they do have
Radiant's
some
bottom
tools to
tower
deal
is
with
under
it.
attack.
You know, they've got some of the late game stuff, and I'll have to get into that in a second. Is they have found the Bounty Hunter here. He's actually
Radiant's
tracked
middle
up.
tower is under
And they're
attack.
going to get the pick off there. Straylock has that
Radiant's
track once
middle
again.
tower has fallen.
Sleep at 4 managed to get the mid tier 1. It's a little bit of gold going to his team, but that's still only their second tower of the game. Sleep at 4 will actually add on a blink dagger thanks to that gold. Okay. I was thinking, you know, there's no way he hasn't had enough gold to finish this Manta. At some point. It's because he's not going Manta, he's going Scotty, and he must have had that on the courier, and I didn't see it, because I didn't see it in the stash.
For the twins.
That's why it kind of pays to look here, because you can see all the... Well, you can see in the stash, you can't see in the courier still, but... Maybe they should do that. They should have something here that shows the courier. That'd be nice. I'll have to put it in as another suggestion. Are you gonna make fun of me saying jacket? Just as what's wrong with calling it a jacket? I call it jacket all the time.
Radiant's top tower is under
Cloak,
attack.
it's a jacket. I mean, I guess it's not really a jacket, but I don't know. A friend started calling it jacket, and it just kind of stuck.
Radiant's top tower
We
is
play
under
like
attack.
1,000 games with someone who calls it a jacket. It's I don't know. I guess it just kind of sticks. Well, we've got a smoke here from the
Radiant
Dire. They're going to look
structures are
to turn
fortified.
things around here, but it's just 4 of them. Of course, the Anti-Mage's still farming, but
Radiant's
they're
top
doing
tower
the
is under
wraparound.
attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
It looks like they are just going to choose not to
Dire's
engage from that
bottom
angle.
tower
It's
is under
just the
attack.
Bounty Hunters coming in from behind. All the other ones just TP'd back.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Shackle shot doesn't last.
Dire's bottom
Never
tower
wins.
has fallen.
As they, well, I guess it wasn't as difficult for them to break that high ground. They dropped the tier 3 easily. West, hook shots in.
Dire's
He's going to
bottom
go for
tower
Shay.
has fallen.
He pops the blade now. There's a lot of damage coming out of him. He'll get the shallow grave. Rupture getting used onto the Wind Ranger. Noble Wings getting quite low as well. This is a very separated fight. I'm trying to catch all of it on the camera here for you. But it looks like Noble Wings was able to waveform away. We've got a man fight between the Gyrocopter and the Wind Ranger.
Dire's
Wind Ranger
bottom
will go down.
barracks are
Shay
under
came in and
attack.
kind of interfered there. Noble Wings gets the kill on the Bounty Hunter. This is a really separated fight. I think I got most of it on camera there.
Dire's
Whether or not what
bottom
your eyes were
barracks
looking at
has
versus
fallen.
what my eyes were looking at, it is a very separated fight. But they do claim the racks, and that's the most important part. They've only lost 1 hero too. They've got their Lena extremely low. But Cheesehead not in a position where they're going to be able to hit him with a rocket flare anyways. I mean, they could have.
Dire's middle tower
She was
is under attack.
Technically outside the vision of this. I think she was right there. I'm not sure. Either way, the rocket was thrown mid. But we see our first set of racks go down. Very, very important to do up against an Anti-Mage and next level badasses. They get it done. I was really surprised how easy they were able to take that tier 3. But it is just 1 set of racks. Don't count Spartan 5 out of this. They're certainly... Oh, goodness. Well, I just got... I just got pulled off of my thought there is... Oh, my friend Agnes, he's in chat now. He's the one who calls it jacket, so he's always calling it a jacket in chat. Jacket, it's a jacket. Jacket. It's I think it's actually in reference to Family Guy when he calls the the Jackal episode? I think that's what it's in reference to. You have to ask him. Oh, he says, who was it who started anyway? So apparently it wasn't him. Either way, let's get back to the game. As, you know, we're only down one set of racks here, and Ham can still become a real big threat. Certainly, one racks is not that difficult to come back from. Certainly, it's a position you don't want to be in, especially when you haven't taken down a single tier 2 tower. But, I mean, it's certainly not a position that's too difficult to overcome. Like, you can come back from this. And certainly with an AM on your team, it's definitely possible. That's a good way to get it started. When Ranger gets a pick off onto the Lina, Russ West jumps on in. He's going to return a lot of damage with his blade mail, but a lot of it just gets returned right into a BKB, meaning it's not doing any damage at all. He eats the shallow grave, but he still goes down. The Dazzle goes down as well. As they do get a pick off, but they do lose too. In the end, it's actually a lot of gold going the way of the Radiant. And I don't think Strelok had track for those kills.
Dire's middle
He certainly doesn't have track right now.
Dire's structures are fortified.
He is track though. We've got 4 standing off to the side, and Observer Ward getting placed with Strelok there.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Stan going to be coming in from the side.
Dire's top
Bounty
tower
comes in,
is
gets the
under
track
attack.
off, but he's quick with the fingers. Gets the Shadow Walk off, so when
Dire's
Strelok
middle
steals, he gets the
barracks
Shadow
has
Walk and steal instead.
Dire's middle
Not the
barracks
worst thing for
has
him to
fallen.
steal, but not the best thing going into a team fight. If we were going to have a team fight there, but we don't. But we do have another set of racks going down, and this is approaching that position where it's very difficult to come back from. You're down 2 sets of racks. It's hard to do anything out on the map because you're always having to defend your other lanes. Like, you're always having to stop and manage the lanes. And on top of that, AM, it's kind of limiting his farm too, because a lot of people don't know this. I'm sure most of you guys in chat do though. When racks are down in a lane, the creeps, when they die, they award less gold and XP than they would. Like this Wind Ranger.
Money to burn.
This is actually not. Are they oh, they are super creeps. But yeah, when she gets gold for killing these creeps, if she actually kills them, she only got 18 gold, 19 gold for that one, 26 gold for that one. That's a lot less than you're used to getting. So that's another thing that makes it very difficult. It's not just about the lanes always pushing against you. It's the fact that you're also getting less gold and XP for killing those creeps. But it was pointed out in chat, and I pointed out a little bit earlier in the game, they do still have a Morphling. It's not the end of the world going super late game against an Anti-Mage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Not only do they have the Morphling, they got a Gyrocopter, which is pretty good late game. Bloodseeker's not bad late game either. He does drop off a bit, but he's not the worst. And look at that. Or even having Noble Wings using the Morphling Replicate, realizing that his creeps have broken the high ground. That means there's no backdoor protection, so he's getting a little bit of damage in on this tier 3. Notice that
Dire's top tower
that's going to be the hardest part for them, to break that tier 3. They haven't had too much difficulty breaking the previous tier 3s, but when it's the last set of, when it's the last tier 3 and the last set of racks, certainly they're gonna go full out trying to defend it. Doing a little bit of counter warding. Strelok doesn't have track, but he's got AM Blink, another terrific spell for him. There's a lot of good stuff for him to spell steal this game. Shallow Grave's a good one too. Blue would be good as well. Strelok blinking forward, gets track again. Has he got 2 separated fights here? As most of the fights going on up here, as we got Stan in a man fight with Shay, but Goodnight's sitting there cheating as well as he's attacking Stan as well. Shallow Grave will go on to the AM as he's quite low. He's getting Goodnight low as well, but he's going to get tossed in the air. He's going to land right into his death as Sleep at 4 is also going to go down as well. And I think we're going to see GG called here in just a second. There we go. Didn't goes down, and GG well played will get called as we'll have the next level badasses take another SCS win. We've got Cheesehead saying shout out to Mafia Cheese. He's a friend of mine as well, and I think he's also, because I'm going to ESL, and we're going to be traveling down to ESL with Indie Bear, and we're going to be rooming with Goofy, and I believe Mafia Cheese is going to be staying with Goofy as well. So yeah, shout out to him for sure. But shout out to Next Level Badasses as they take another win in SCS. Like I said, consistency. They're always getting deep into the tournament and always putting on a good performance, and we saw that tonight as well. You know, they played a really solid game against Spartan 5. You know, they were able to take those towers down. The laning phase, it was okay. It was alright. You know, they went with that aggro tri lane. They certainly punished the hell out of that anti-mage, and I think that was their top priority. You know, really setting that anti-mage back. Spartan 5, they really struggled to find a way to get their anti-mage more farm early on in the game. Stan did a good job of coming back in the game, but they needed to do something to get him farm a little bit earlier so he wasn't so far behind. And, you know, as he was farming and trying to get himself back in the game, there was a lot of 4v5, and that's, you have to play 4 Protect when you've got anti-mage on your team. But they just weren't able to delay long enough. Russ West had a lot of good hookshot initiations, but unfortunately he just got blown up. He had the Blade Mill active, but when there were so many BKBs coming out on the Radiant side, he just gets blown up. You know, Goodnight and Shay both had their BKBs. And even Lena, like, sometimes it's actually perfectly fine to just Laguna into the Clockwork, especially if they're using something like Blood Rage or something like that on the Lena. She can just Laguna in, finish off the Clockwork, and, you know, Russ West, despite the fact that he had some good initiations, he just gets blown up. They were using Shallow Grave on him every time as well to try to keep him alive as long as possible. But outside of that, they're kind of lacking in some team fight. Bounty Hunter and Dazzle don't really offer the most. So Next Level Badass is sensing a weakness there and definitely punishing and doing a really good job of doing so. But shoutouts to Spartan 5. They played some really good games to get themselves into the finals. Last game of the night wasn't necessarily the best game that they showed tonight, but they definitely still played all right. And we look forward to seeing them next week, which may be on a completely different patch. We'll have to wait and see. We know the patch is potentially coming out within the next week. Could be a little bit longer than that. That's not my words, that's Ice Frog's. So it could be an interesting SCS next week. Either way, you guys should tune in and check it out. I'll be casting it for sure. So hit me up with a follow on twitch.tv/NizCast. Once again, I, of course, am Niz, hence the name NizCast. But you can also hit me up on Twitter, @NizCast, where I tweet every time I'm going live and tweet about other stuff. And I don't really tweet all that much, but I tweet. So follow me there. And yeah, everything I cast tonight, all the VODs will be uploaded to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/NizCast. But that's going to be it for me tonight. Make sure you guys go and check out semiprodota.com. If you guys want to compete in the next SCS, you can also find more information about it. And that's where you can go look at all the brackets and all that stuff. But until next week, I'm Niz. Have a good one.